Hi, this is a really quick video to go over a couple of new features that are coming in the next version of YuME. These are user requested features. So let's start with taking a look at the new rotate feature. So before you could only rotate on the Y, and that's on the Z and X keys. Now you can rotate on the X as well. So you can do things like this. Let's choose a different tile. Something like that. What else have we got that we could do? That's quite fun. So it takes a little bit of experimenting to get things kind of rotated how you fully expect them to, but it was a kind of a difficult axes to kind of try and work out which way to flip them. Y is very obvious because it just rotates. I've chosen X, so it might take a little bit of playing to get the results you want, but it means you can get a lot more use out of even just the base prototype toolset. Let me just clear this. Another feature that was requested, and this is probably a very special case, is the ability to have random rotations as you paint. Now, a use case of this might be if you've got a cube and every single side is on a different texture, so you're making a voxel game, and you've got maybe 6 different variants of your wall. You could have paint with a random rotation, and it would rotate that cube and give you a lot of different styles of wall without any effort whatsoever. So to turn this on, we press the R key. And that's going to pop up a message which maybe not so visible if the sky's in a certain position. But it now says random rotation paint mode is in, it should say on, I'll fix that. Press R to toggle off, so R to toggle off, R to toggle on. Now when you paint, the brushes are randomly rotated as you paint. Like I say, this is a bit of a crazy example because you wouldn't probably do this. But like I say, if you've got a cube or a shape that you're using a lot of, and each side has a different texture, and you want to just paint a lot of this stuff and have a bit of variation based on the rotation of the cube, it's quite a useful feature. Clear that and turn random mode off. It needs to be on brush. There we go. The next feature is the ability to import alternative versions of tiles, and this is kind of a similar principle. So if we take a look at the prototype file, this is in Silo. What I've done here is, this is our normal base block. It's called something like 0A, I wish this was all sorted. Yeah, that's okay. A00 block, right? What I've done is I've created 2 more copies, sorry, 3 more copies of that. And I've called them 00 block underscore alt underscore 01, 02, and 03. Now what's really important here is the naming. So you can define what kind of prefix, or suffix, I guess, you want for these files. I'm using underscore alt, but they do all need to be named uniquely still, otherwise YuME will find them as a single object and import them as one. So bearing that in mind, when you create an alternative, just make sure it's got underscore alt or something that you define in the importer. I'll show that in a minute. And something unique. Doesn't have to be numbers, it can be letters, it can be anything, but they do need to be uniquely named objects. Now if we go to the tile importer, we've got this new alt tile setting. As you can see, I've set that to underscore alt. So what that's going to do is when it imports, it's going to look through the source file, and if it finds any alternative tiles, it's going to treat them slightly differently on import. So if we go to our prototype tiles, if we watch this folder as I import, you'll see what it's doing. I'm going to import tile set, just going to refresh the source file, and it's now importing 53 objects. It used to be 50. And what it does is it creates a directory named after the block that it's got alternatives for and puts the alternatives in here, right? Now if we go to the map editor, let's reload that tile set to make sure we've got the freshest version. these do not show up in the palette, so we can just still select this and paint, and everything's normal. However, if we toggle this Use Alt Tiles down at the bottom here, it's going to paint with the different alternative versions that have been imported by YuME, which again is really great if you've got like a voxel game where you've got one tile which you've got 4 or 5 or 10 or 20 different variants on, and you want to be able to just quickly place those down. You can use this version, or you could do the random rotation version. So there's a couple of different ways to get a lot more variation in a scene with very little effort. I'm just going to do some final testing on these features. They're literally hot off the press. Once I think I can't find any bugs, I'll upload to Unity for you guys to enjoy. Okay, thank you very much.